Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time it is, wherever you are. Welcome to Living Truthfully, episode 65. Makofi tafadhali. Hey! yeah, episode 65, and I'm so excited that you're here. Annie, let me just tell you, the last two episodes you've skizzed there with Solomon, madness. I don't even know how to process that information. But you guys, you heard his appeal. If you can changa for this guy, I'm going to be putting his details on the show notes. If you can changa for him, let's changa. If you have clothes, tell me, I'll organize and do the guy to come and pick them up, something. And let's just make a difference to this man out here. Yeah, so that's that story. And now we are on to another one. So let me tell you about this guy. So this guy is called TT, Dr. Tim Theuri. If you follow him on Facebook, you're going to be measuring matter because the guy can cook. And I'll tell you guys straight up, the guy has brought some ribs, I think, something, in my oven. So at some point, we're going to take a pause and go to the oven and pick up some dish. Then I'll come back and then, continue this conversation with him. But Dr. Tim is a good man. He's a dentist. He is obviously great in the kitchen. We seem to have a lot of common friends, which I don't understand how that happened. And then we never met until the podcast. But he reached out to me once upon a time and he said, yo, dude, you're doing a great job. And we ended up catching up and having a drink. And, I had a drink. He didn't. But I mean, and it's just been interesting just developing some form of relationship, pole with this guy. Then a few days ago, probably a week ago, someone else reached out and told me, you need to have Dr. Tim Theuri on your podcast. I'm like, the one and only is like, yeah, he has a story he needs to share. I'm like, okay, what story? And that's where this podcast starts. Dr. Tim Theuri. What story?
I have no idea what story this is. And
you deny money has been poured to my line.
Been poured. I don't know what this story is. Let's find out.
First, karibu sana to Living Truthfully.
It's an honor to be here.
Finally. You're on. You're really one of the people I truly believe. Guys tell me, hey, let me hit on my followers. And guys, you listen to this podcast. I appreciate you. But some of you, Bana, I know sometimes you're just danganying me because they're like, hey, I watched your podcast. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You did not watch it. Yeah, I like your YouTube. It's not that. It's this. But you're really one of the ardent listeners of my podcast. And thank you so much for that. Thank you for always giving me feedback, always giving me support. I really appreciate that.
I mean, you're doing a fantastic job. When you started it off, I never thought I'd hear something so authentic from a fellow man. I didn't know to what depths you had gone. Not that you say or talk of it, but if you have an ear for the story behind the story, then you're able to pick it out. And I think you're one of those gentlemen and you're living it fantastically and authentically.
Thank you for such kind words. So here's the thing about you, is that I know you're also an authentic human being. And I can tell from the conversations that we've had that you bring all of yourself, your mind, your soul into the conversation. You're there. You're present. So I really don't know. You see, sometimes I usually know this is a convo I want to have with this guy. I don't know what conversation to have with you. I know you have a story to tell. So just out with it. Share this story, bro.
All right. This will not be those podcasts that Amani starts with. This is my boy. You hung out for how long? No.
So it's but the truth is this is my boy. We've hung out for the last on phone once on phone a couple of times once
for the last 1 year.
1 year. It's been a year actually. Yeah. So but it's true. So bring it. Me, I'm just here to listen.
Mine is an interaction with time.
Okay.
I consider time the single biggest currency we have.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
And it is unfortunately the thing we interact with really carelessly.
Mm-hmm.
It's the thing we are not careful about how we expend it. Yet, if time was a continuum, so to say, a section in it is so small, so short. Yet, we've deluded ourselves thinking that 70 years is such a long time. Yet, maybe our productive time in that timeline is really small, is really little. And I think over the last 3 years is when I have become an ardent follower of time, if I'd put it that way. And I didn't come to that realization till maybe late last year. And realizing presencing is what I'd like to call myself to.
That's a big word you use, presencing.
It's just presence with an ing at the end.
Just you're being present.
Just being present in the moment, being present in your thoughts, being present in your actions, being present in your intentions. And you may want to call that deliberateness or being intentional, but I call it presencing.
Okay.
The reason why I call it that is it's a continuous state of being in who you are, in how you exist. And it came in a rather interesting way to me.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'd been in a relationship for a very long time. This is the first time in 10 years. I'm like you.
Single.
You're
solo. Like Zoro. Umesimama peke yako.
Maybe now. This is the time I'm social distancing.
What a time to choose, Bana, to social distance.
Well, it's interesting, so to say. I think it's was it Tony who said what COVID has brought to him? That is the relationship with yourself.
Yes.
It also brought the same for me. And okay, this is a sub story.
Yeah, it's okay.
And when he talked, I realized that's one of the most neglected relationships, the relationship with yourself.
We don't introspect. We don't after ourselves. We don't.
Yeah, we don't look into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same way you go to school to become something, and then you become something that's professional, and you realize, I need a promotion, master's, a diploma here and there, so that you can become better at it. And I asked myself, what am I doing to become better at being me? That has been a question the last few months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So what have I been doing to become a better me?
That's profound. Have you found some things?
Yes. And among them is I love people. I love people. I am givious. Is that a word? I am generous.
Dude, you're inventing words left, right, and center. Do you want me to pass your dictionary, Mazi? You'll be angaling the words as you check. Okay.
I'm a good Englishman.
You're givious.
Yeah, I'm givious. I'm generous. I interact with people, and I love people by giving of myself. So I must find a way of filling that cup so that when it's in the presence of someone else, they have something to take off it. And there's several ways through which I do that. The cliche one is reading.
It's true. The guy walked in with a book in my house. It's called Traffic by Tom Vanderbilt. Okay.
Reading. And the other one is I listen to the stories people don't tell. Human beings intrigue me. And I may seem like I can disappear into the room, yet I can also feel the room. And sorry for that. And I think that's who I am. And that's how I feel that cup. I love conversations. I love hearing what the other person has to say. I hope that they're able to get the same out of me like I am able to out of them. Yeah. So that has been what has been happening the last few months
as you're social distancing by yourself.
Yes.
But let's go back to you, this relationship that you had.
So there was an incident in it on her side.
Okay. And how long was this relationship?
At that point when the incident happened, 6 years.
Okay. Yeah, so that was long.
Yeah, from second in campus.
That's like a marriage, man.
It was for all intents and purposes.
Okay.
And we worked it through though I didn't process it.
Do you want to share what the incident was? You don't have to, but this is living truthfully. Just blurt it out.
What a pressure. What a pressure. So let me just say there was an incident on her end.
That's fine.
And I didn't process it. And out of that, in trying to fight for my space without processing it, I later on proposed.
Okay, so I'm just tracking with you.
All right, so
incident happens. You don't process?
I don't process.
Okay.
Or what I did or I thought was processing was not processing. And a month later, yes, we're okay. And a month and a half later, Theuri proposes.
Okay. So let's talk about that just for a sec. Maybe in retrospect or maybe at the time when you're proposing, what are you doing?
I was fighting for my space.
You are fighting for. What do you mean fighting for a space?
The incident threatened my space in that relationship.
Okay.
In a manner that I had never thought would happen. And I was thrown into a let me not say a panic, but I was destabilized, and that was new to me. Maybe a reflection of me having taken things for granted, or maybe a reflection of not knowing where I stand, or rather who I am as a person, where I drew my authority from. So it was one of those a crisis, but you pack it up.
Okay, and so a crisis has happened, and this is the response to the crisis.
This was the response. So
you propose.
Yeah, by fighting for my space.
Okay,
and that happens, and we move into what seemingly was a good space. And the following year, we begin our ceremonies, the ratios, all those things. And we did them, but they were beautiful. I loved them. There were photos. Of course, the obligatory album to your mom.
I don't know how that looks like, but
no, it was for the ratio and the Itara.
Yes.
It didn't get to be a wedding. And then the following year, I just thought to myself, I asked myself, I was looking at a photo and I was like, when was this photo taken? I mean, it yes, but when was it taken? And then I realized I was absent.
Hold up. So you've done a Rurashio, you've done an Itara, and this is when they come to visit your home.
Yeah.
And then there's no wedding yet.
There's no wedding yet. So we are in the process of
planning
for one.
You're planning for a wedding.
Yeah.
What's that time period between, say, the Itara and the wedding? And the expected wedding date?
So, proposed in November. Go to their place for Kohadaitege in Feb. And then in April, Russia happens. June of the same year, Itara happens.
Okay.
Yep.
So about 7-8 months thereabouts.
Thereabout.
So when you're looking at this picture, when is this? When is this that you're looking at this picture?
In terms of years?
No, in reference to this period, you're looking at a picture at some point.
That was July.
So this is after the Itara.
Yeah, and then she got a job out of town.
Okay.
That was not new to us. We had periods over the years we spent together of us not being in the same town.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're alone. You just open a picture and you look at this picture. What's the picture of?
It was myself in a suit with a that flower. What is it called? Like the one Mo used to wear. The lapel flower. I can't remember what it was called. Lapel is not for Mike.
The lapel is for a suit. It's actually a place.
Fair enough for Mike.
But you want us to call it a brooch? It's not really a brooch. It's but it's
let's call it Moi's flower.
Moi's flower.
Yeah.
Moi's suit collar suit flower.
That one. So I'm in one, and I'm looking at the picture.
A carnation. Was it a carnation or what flower?
It was
a rose. Okay.
It was a red one. I don't know why they choose those ones. Is there a reason?
Yeah, love, romance. What was the occasion you were wearing the suit for?
They itara.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there, love, romance, that was the reason.
Okay, I mean, fair enough.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Why is it that there isn't liberty to choose the color you want as a man?
I don't know, because when you see love, you see red.
Red is supposed to be danger.
That's my joke over there. I'm excited with it. Love is dangerous.
Put a point on love is dangerous. Let me just write that down. Yeah.
Love is dangerous.
All right. That's how I write money.
Okay, that's whether he's a doctor. He has a notebook in front of him. I'm trying to read what is written. I can't. Nothing. It looks. It's a prescription for love.
Growing up, I was stooped for having a bad handwriting. I was chapward, and the person who's doing this equally does not have a good handwriting. Who happens to be my father.
Does he know that it may have influenced your career?
I mean, I look back at it. There's a day I was writing a prescription trying to be neat. I am. And then I thought, wait, that man, he should have seen talent.
Yeah, you should have seen where this was going.
Yeah. So anyway, parents, don't chapa your kiddos for
handwriting.
Anyway, so I'm looking at the picture and I'm wondering, where was I? When was this taken? And to be honest, I think I can remember all of 4 events during that season. 1, as we were going to their place. 2, a statement I'd made as we got into the ratio. 3, a speech one of my dad's friends made. And the 4th event was a picture we took outside our place for the ratio, for the Itara rather. And I was like, for 4 events, and I can only remember 4 moments like that, and I was supposed to be the center of it, herself and me. I was like, that's a bad indicator. I was like, where was I?
So you feel like you were absent.
I was mentally absent, Amani. And looking back, I think I remember the point at which maybe I shouldn't have allowed myself for it to get that far. But you know that thing you keep on telling yourself, this is the next logical step. This is, not being present in the moment.
All right, so we're going to take a break there because there's some ribs that we need to check on. And then I'm coming back to ask him. So I need to remember this question. I'm coming back to ask him, what were the things that made you feel like this is when you should stop? Because you're saying there are moments that you felt, I shouldn't be continuing this. So what are those things that made you feel this is when we should stop? We'll be right back. COVID-19 has changed our lives in many ways. As an entrepreneur, I have come to appreciate the value of us sticking together. This is why I want to give you, the listener of Living Truthfully, an incredible offer to advertise your business on this podcast for, wait for it, whatever you can afford. Wow! That's right, whatever you can afford. This is what you do. Just send me an email on amani@thamanimedia.com with details of your product or service and how much you want to pay.
Wow.
That's it. And then I will get back to you, and once approved, your advert will be on the next episode. Take a chance on yourself and pay what you can. However, some subjective terms and conditions will definitely apply. All right, so we're back with Dr. Tim. We've just gone and checked on the ribs. They're not yet done.
Okay.
But how long, you think?
Maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah, so this episode, don't mind the interruptions. I've got to eat. So, and I'm going to eat Tim's ribs.
We're living authentically.
We're living authentically. So that's how it is.
Food is part of life.
It is.
Bas.
So, bro, you're at this point, you've looked at this picture, you're saying you don't feel like you are present. And you said something interesting. You said that there were moments during this process you feel like you could have stopped it. You feel like you could have maybe this is where to end this conversation, but you're not doing it because you're thinking about the next natural step.
Exactly.
What stopped you? What are those moments, maybe, and what triggered some of those moments? But what stopped you?
I think it's just fear, or I'd basically say it's fear. We've not been socialized to think that it's okay to say no. That it's okay to know that this is not working for me, or it will not work for me.
Yeah.
Because then it was working, but it wouldn't have worked for me eventually.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'd have been those men that just wake up and say cheers. I'm out.
So, but what are the most moments that triggered it? That triggered that thing of
I felt empty. Not out of being in the relationship, but it was emptiness that was due to something that was happening in me. It was an emptiness in me.
Okay.
And
so are you saying this had nothing to do with her? It was just a process that you were going through?
Yes and no.
Okay.
But the bigger part of the yes was domiciled with me.
Okay.
And the frustrations I saw on the final day when I said I'll not go on with it had become so big that I wouldn't have gotten past them. And I think there are two moments. Once in a parking lot, Pale Kenyari. And a second time when we were in my dad's office.
Okay.
And we were just having a conversation. And I think those two moments are the moments when I should have had the balls, for lack of a better word, to call it a day.
What was it about those moments?
When I look back, I think those were the moments when that what I felt was strongest.
Yeah. Do you know why? At that in those moments, do you know? Like, was there a trigger? Was it a fight, a conversation?
Now, when I look back at it, I think it was when I was having, I call them lordship battles. When you know that still small voice from God that tells you, "Yo, nigga," yeah, just nudging you. I think those were the moments when that was happening. And I wouldn't say he was nudging me away from her. It was that I was sitting on a seat that wasn't mine in my life. I have been an authority to myself. I've been the it in my life, you know, and I don't think that is how life should be led. Though we want to lead it that way because it's convenient. It's what we know. It's what we understand. It's what is not challenging to us.
Yeah.
And when confronted with an idea that challenges our beliefs, challenges our way of life, we tend to adopt what is not too contradictory to what we've known. That kind of cognitive laziness that we do have.
Cognitive laziness.
Is what I am now against.
Okay.
As a mantra in my life. And now, rolling you back, and those are the 4 moments I could remember. And I sat down one day. She's away. She's out of town working, and it was tough. This is someone you've been with for more than 7 years. I basically the best years of my life were with her. My 20s. Right now, there's nothing I wouldn't give to be 25, man.
Again. No.
Not the money, not just to be 25 and feel 25 again.
Yeah.
There's nothing I wouldn't give. Not that I carry regrets for how I've led my life. Maybe 1 or 2.
What's a life without a few regrets, man?
What? Yeah. There's a song called I Did It My Way,
Frank Sinatra. Regrets. I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I love that song, Maze. That's one of my funeral songs.
Wacha Frank imba wimbo yake.
Okay, nimeachana na Frank imba. Lakini nikienda karaoke hiyo wimbo it has bought me a few bottles.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, the other song now is Sammy Davis Jr. It's called I Did It My Way.
I don't know it.
You'll check it up on in your spare time.
In my spare time.
In your spare
You don't want me to check it out now?
I want to sound important. That's why I said spare time.
So.
So anyway, those are the moments I could remember. And I've been with someone for 7 years, giving her my best years of my life. And I look fondly on the moments we shared. We didn't fight. We didn't fight a lot. Maybe because we were maybe young. We didn't know what exactly life was about. And there were good moments. I honestly think we'd have had a fairly decent marriage. I honestly think so. Looking back, yeah.
Good choice of words. Fairly decent marriage. Yeah.
I am no authority to speak on marriage, but that's what I think. Given what I know now, what I've seen around me, and how and who I have become, I think so. And it was sad. It was just sad. I just felt sad. And I knew I just I have to pull the plug. And I took some time. I think I took a month. And it was a terrible month. And it was routine. I was going to work, coming back home. I was eating amani. I was the size of a hippo, man.
I saw a picture somewhere on Facebook. Did you post something on Facebook?
I did.
Hey guy, you have to tell me the secret.
I was I must have been maybe 95. That's the last time I remember stepping on a weighing scale. 95 kilos bila wallet.
It's okay. I'm keeping quiet because I'm like, I can't talk about mine.
And it was just sad. When I look back, it was sad. And the subsequent pain, both on my end and especially hers, if there was a way I'd take away the pain of the process from her, I would carry it with me. I would take it so that she doesn't have to experience
How do you have that conversation? What do you say?
I think I didn't have it with her the right way when I look back. But when I arrived at the decision, I said I will be honorable. I will be very respectful in the process. And I maintained that till the very end. It may not have seemed like that then because of the pain, the anger, the betrayal, the sense of rejection that clouded that season. But I never once was mean. I never once returned or replied to a text in anger or with... Even when a not so good text came, I nearly maintained. And the truth is that during that season, I met a girl.
Sorry, I just feel like this is relevant. Is this before or after you've ended it?
As I am ending it.
So you've made the decision to end it?
Yeah. And then I met a friend and I never talked to her a day before in my life. I remember I was at Jueke and I make a call. Unajua kale kashetani. Brain cell 1. Brain cell 2. Text hi. To be honest, my intention was not for anything. And I'm being truthful. I mean, I no one believes this part when I say it, but it wasn't for anything. And I think I met her a month after that. A month or so. A month and a half after that. And we meet. She first even didn't reply my messages. I was like, what the hell is this? Anyway. And she became a friend. She became my friend. And it was a friendship that was at a tricky point. And we later on developed feelings. And I'm going through this thing. and it was crazy. It was a crazy period. I didn't live for her, but it just happened the way it did.
So you're saying you didn't leave this relationship that you're in for her, but she just happened to be there when you were leaving.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds crazy, but I understand. Like I really do. I'm not saying more, but I just know I understand.
I'm here to mean someone who says they understand and they mean it. So
No, I really do.
I hope you
I
mean
really
it. Now
do.
that you're having ribs, I hope you mean it.
I really do.
Yeah. So that's my truth. And maybe, and perhaps, it reinforced that we were not right for each other. And by that I mean, I said it would have we'd have had a fairly decent marriage. All right. But if maybe compatibility and all those things counselors look at when they're saying nyinyi ni kama amfai kuwa pamoja ama mnafaa mkuwe pamoja, so those things they look at, if it was a scale, I think we were on the lower side of that scale. Yeah.
Do you think she'd feel the same now?
I don't know what process she's gone through. I don't know what process she's been through. I don't know where she's at life. We don't talk. So I don't know. My honest answer is I don't know. My silent and secret prayer has always been that God is kind to her in this journey, the journey that she later on has undertaken without me, and that he has been gracious to her, and that particular event that happened to her becomes the point where she becomes better for it, if it's possible. If it's possible.
Okay, so I'm just trying to track on the story. We've ended it, but while we're ending it, there's someone else in the picture.
In the picture who I happen to like.
We happen to like. So I've many questions.
All right.
One, you've said you didn't live for her, so I understand, but she must have influenced your decision, because maybe it shows you what you're also lacking in your current relationship. Is that?
The truth is, I felt alive.
And that's okay, because you're
Felt alive.
saying here I don't quite feel alive, but this has made me feel alive.
Yeah. It switched on me being mentally present. That's what it switched on. Yeah.
Okay. The one you're breaking off the relationship with, does she know that this other person exists?
Eventually, she got to know during that process.
During the process.
During the process, yeah.
Okay. And now, as you're ending it, do you know what you want to do with this person that you like now?
It was confusing as well for me. And the reason why it was confusing is there are many voices in my head. Mine, my friends, I think also the devil. God.
You don't think God was speaking at the time as well?
God. But the season I was in, I don't think, if he spoke, maybe I didn't hear, or I heard it and I didn't know it was him. So there are many voices. My friend saying, take some time. It's been 7 years. Take some time. You need to cool off your heels. You need to do all those things. And it was a season where someone was going to lose something between myself, where I was living, and we can't see where I was going. All right, because we later on dated.
Okay. I'm going to take a break here.
All right.
Because you need to check on those ribs.
Sawa.
But I feel like I'm about to. Where it feels right now, it's like it's La Mujer de Theuri. You know, like this is this is how it feels right now.
Why
So
does everyone think I look at that event for life?
No. I know. It's just that moment. It's like a the.
And this is the music you chose.
This is the music I chose. We'll be right back.
And now a word from our sponsors.
COVID-19 has changed our lives in many ways. As an entrepreneur, I have come to appreciate the value of us sticking together. This is why I want to give you, the listener of Living Truthfully, an incredible offer to advertise your business on this podcast for, wait for it, whatever you can afford. Wow! That's right, whatever you can afford. This is what you do. Just send me an email on amani@thamanimedia.com with details of your product or service and how much you want to pay. That's it. And then I will get back to you, and once approved, your advert will be on the next episode.
Wow.
Take a chance on yourself and pay what you can. However, some subjective terms and conditions will definitely apply.
So we're back on La Mujer de Theuri. I'm really enjoying this Toro. The ribs are not ready yet. You guys, anyway, but I'm sure they'll be by the time we're done with this episode. So Tim is telling us this story about, I don't even know what it's about, but where we are at so far is a 7-year relationship is ending. There seems to be signs of a new one starting. He's confused. And I know many of us guys have gone through this feeling where you're not sure whether the decision you're making is right, whether the decision you've made is the right one. You're not sure whether the person you're with is the person you should be. Someone else has made you feel alive. Tim, where do you go from here? What's your next move?
I'm not sure I had it figured out like that in terms of like it's a chessboard and this is my next move and I'll move here from here to here and with a good strategy in mind, yeah. And among the better things that I've become is I improved my decision-making process.
Okay.
That season was shrouded with so much uncertainty, so much fear of carrying regrets, feelings to be handled.
Do you mind me asking how old you were at the time you were ending this relationship?
I was 29.
29,
yeah.
Okay.
So I am coming to birth. I think that's a good that's a good title to it.
I'm coming to birth.
Coming to birth. To birth. Yeah. That actually was my set book.
I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, that was actually it is by Marjorie Oluthe Magoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it starts in a really funny way. It starts in it's 1952 and Martin Were goes to pick his wife Paulina from the train station. Yeah.
okay. I don't remember any of my set books like that, but I'm very impressed by you.
Anyway, I'm coming to birth. So I look back and I improved my decision-making process. There are things there are attendant emotions to any decisions. There are fears. There is what you're sure about. And there is always a factor of the unknown. And taking you back to the timeline that we are occupying, there's something that has happened before and there's something that will happen after. And being human is being at home or is interacting every day with uncertainty. Every day. There's a chance you'll not come back home. There's always a chance for something to happen. The things we seem sure about are the things we've proven to a great degree of certainty, but there's still some uncertainty in them. And I now don't necessarily fear. It still bedevils me. It's still one of those things that is still broken in me, and that awareness is also very important. So we this other lady, fantastic girl. And it so happened that this is the first time I'm being intentional with someone. I am being deliberate. I have started to presence.
Okay.
I didn't know it then, but that is what it was. I was those guys, how was the day? Poor. Good. And I started to break it down. How did that make me feel? How did that particular interaction leave me? Was I annoyed? Do I want to pursue it some more? These are my fears in it. Yeah. For the first time, I was talking about my finances, something that was totally new to me. I've been brought up by a businessman. My mom worked she's been a career-long civil servant. And I don't think, I'm not too sure, but I don't think Dad knew how much Mom had. Maybe it's just how we saw it.
And from your perspective, you didn't see those finances discussed in that sense?
Yes. I would say I've lived a comfortable life. There was, I've grown into comfort. Let me put it that way. And it's a privilege. It's a privilege to grow into comfort, experiencing a season or seasons of lack, and into plenty now.
Yeah.
And when I look back, Dad did everything, and he was happy to do it. And when we have conversations now, he says it's something that he made a promise to himself. I don't think he was just being a stuck-up African man. No, it's something that he was quite deliberate about, and he made a promise to himself. He left his father's house with an envelope and a plan, and he came to Nairobi.
What was in the envelope?
I'd want to suspect maybe his KC or his CPE certificate, maybe. I don't know. That's what I don't suspect.
No, maybe it was a 5 million check. Like Trump's uncle.
Oh, what?
Or Trump's father. Whatever
I'd be feeling it.
You'd be feeling it right now. Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I have a question for you. You say you're now in this relationship and you're talking about all these things. You're being vulnerable.
Yes.
In this relationship. I've had a statement that most men do not feel safe in their relationships. And safe is not physical safety. Safe is emotional safety or psychological safety. Like most men do not feel like they can be vulnerable in their relationships. Did you feel that way in your first relationship, or is it that you are just not aware of what that looks like?
I wasn't. Just wasn't aware. I didn't know it. I was a kid. I didn't know it. And when I look back at it, even when we used to have those discussions, and maybe I tease it out, or she nudges it out, we didn't know how to grow it further than that. And that is why I think when we were starting, I said we don't put resources, or we don't put education into the things that matter to us, our relationships, our interactions with ourselves, that relationship with self, with how do you grow it? Yeah. So yeah, I wasn't aware about it. And something I'll say at this point is that the aim of love, or the perfect manifestation of love, is fearlessness. And that would be to love without fear, loosely put. And that is difficult, Amani. And what that means is, wachana na ile despite and in spite of, it is knowing that I am giving of myself, I am giving of my resources, both financial, which is what people think men give, but also men carry a burden, all right? That burden of what we can call provision, that burden of protection, that burden of trying to think or carrying someone else's vision. It's not an easy burden. Yeah, when someone entrusts you with their vision and they think that being with you, their life will be better, not because of what you bring, but they trust your guidance. They trust that you're looking out for them. It's not an easy burden to carry.
Hold on. I'm about to introduce a new sound to my podcast. And this is the sound of when an enlightenment statement has been made. So you said that perfect love
exists at the intersection of where love meets fearlessness. Very silly.
That's the new sound. That's the sound of Nini. When you say something profound. But that is so profound. And let me tell you why. Because you say that loving without fear.
Yeah.
That's very hard to do. Yet it's actually very scriptural. Mm-hmm. Because the Bible says perfect love drives out all
fear.
Yeah. So the opposite of love is fear. It's not even hate.
It's fear. Another one. Yeah. So, and if you look at even what, now that you've quoted the Bible says that love is kind, doesn't keep a record of wrong, is long suffering, is all those things. None of those things are innate to any human being. None of those things are things you're born with. Those are skills you have to learn.
And I thought as an expert on the love chapter.
Those are skills you must learn.
Love is patient. You have to learn patience. Love is kind. You have to learn kindness. It's not jealous. It's not proud.
I can't do me, I'm the jealous type.
Does not keep a record of wrong.
It's long suffering.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Those are skills that are essential to being with someone else.
So love is not natural. Think about that, man.
I think being with someone has some unnaturality to it. It does have, because this is someone who has their own biases. There is the way that before meeting you, they knew their life. There is a way in which they were brought. There is a baggage they carry. And the first 3 years of being with someone, as you're sorting out all that and nearly killing each other and all those things, yeah? I think that's what we are often confronted with. And I moved my perspective from that idea of oneness to wanting to enjoy my world with two perspectives. Wanting to enjoy the world through someone else's eyes.
Isn't that countercultural? Because the idea, as I've known, and maybe it's something whether to learn or unlearn, I'm not sure, but that the whole purpose of bringing two people together.
What you said is called cognitive flexibility. The ability to learn and learn and relearn. Play the sound, Amani.
Say it again. Sorry, I was flabbergasted.
It's called cognitive flexibility.
Wow. Okay. So
I'm not underscoring the importance of codependence. I'm not underscoring that importance. Yeah, but I'm saying, if for me, this is for me, and this is what my journey has led me to. Yeah, in being Team Theuri, yeah? Looking at the world through someone else's perspective. Someone will say something, you may think as though it's disrespect. Well, I'm not saying disrespect is tolerable, but you may want to look and say, what did they see? What led towards that decision? What led towards that statement that they said? And actually, more often than not, if you talk to any two people who've been together long enough, maybe in a duration of 10 years, possibly they've had 10 big fights. Possibly.
or more.
You can say an average of what? 2-3 a year? Big ones.
Big ones.
Yeah.
And let's say on a quarter.
That works. That works. If you look at it that way, and look at the other mundane things people tend to kill each other about, then I don't think it's worth it to fight over everything. And I think Bob Collymore was the biggest practitioner of that. And this is the season in which we are celebrating his 1 year since he left. And I think I saw something on the paper that said it basically talked into taking life easy. Yeah. Talk a little less, listen some more. You don't have to be the first person to say something. You won't just die for keeping quiet and observing. Because out of observance, patterns emerge. All right. And if you're a good student of patterns, then most of the other things become deciphered in your life. Numbers will lie, history will lie, people lie, men lie, women lie, patterns don't. I don't believe they are not inconsistent. And if there's an inconsistency in them, then it just tells you whatever it is you're dealing with is inconsistent as well. Yeah. So that's how I have improved my decision making. Hey, this story is all over, man.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm tracking.
Okay, fair enough. So if someone is tracking as well, like as you, I think they can follow it as well. So it started from me learning vulnerability. That's where we were, I think, if I remember well. And in my previous relationship, I didn't know. I was a kid, like I said. Now step into this other one, and now that is coming out. I suddenly grew up in a space of 6 months. And again, I think I've done double the growth the last 1 year as well. It's been a hard one.
So, does that indicate that relationship lasted 6 months?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It went further than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did it work?
It did. It did. Okay. We are now separate.
Okay.
We're friends. We talk. And again, I think it also suffered out of the lordship battles again I was having in my life.
Who's boss?
Who's boss? Mimi ndio kusema in my life. And it has nothing to do with the arrogance that comes with that statement. It has everything to do with authority that we agree to subscribe to.
Okay.
And
how did that play out in your relationship? How did that lordship battle?
I said I was going to be intentional. I was going to, that thing they say in weddings, wekeni Mungu katikati. It's not a joke. It's not for games, by the way. And while we are on that topic, I came to realize I also have a problem with how God was introduced to me as a child.
Okay.
I've grown up in a Christian family, thorough religious background. I have served in church and then go to campus and then I put that down and nikaishi maisha. Nikakula maisha na kijiko kubwa, as they say. Well, okay, not that eventful, but that's what happened in my life.
For many of us.
Yeah. And when I look back, it's quite interesting that a relationship with God, I wouldn't say like any other, but it has tenets and features of most other relationships that we do enjoy. It needs time, it needs vulnerability, it needs listening, it needs to know what the other person appreciates. It must, and also it must be based on something. There's something that brings people together. And for most people who undergo a crisis of faith, that's what they're questioning. What brings me together with God? And when this year started, I said I was going to define my philosophy of my own philosophy of how I relate with God. Aside from what I've been taught as a Christian. I grew up as a Christian. And of course I ask the questions, why am I still a Christian? All those things, yeah. But I realized that I need to define that for myself. And I'm still in the process of that. And then COVID happened.
But that gives you just even better opportunity to define yourself.
No, man.
And your relationship with
what
God.
I understood was knowing God is doing what? It's part of it is going to church. Now we've not been going to church, have we? Yeah.
No, we haven't. But
Yeah.
I can challenge that. But I don't want to. This is your story.
For me, that's what I understood it for.
Yeah.
As I was questioning it, that the last few years I've not been really good in attending church, and I felt guilty for it, and it was quite confusing. So I said, I got a church, found a nice church that has solid theology, and they preached and they interacted with the Bible in a logical manner, so to say, because that's the kind of person I am. I believe in logic.
Daktari.
Medicine at times is not logical. Medicine at times is not logical, yeah?
So I want to know how your last relationship ended. And I want to know where you're at now. But I had the ding of the oven.
All right.
So we're gonna check on this.
That's an important point.
Yeah, we're gonna check on these ribs. We'll be back in a second, or 2, or 3. I don't know. That will tell you. So let me tell you guys, the ribs I've checked in. Wow. I've not even on that yet, but they look so good. Theuri is on his second one currently. No jokes, but such a good man. I have to post a picture on social media to show you just what this guy brought and made for us. Baby pork ribs. Thank you so much, sir.
Karibu sana.
Yeah, right. So we're in this part of the story where you're engaging some confessions. And you're saying, let's start with that second relationship. Why did it end?
Like I said, that aspect for me was really important and a big contributor to why it ended, or why it broke down. I don't think it ended; it broke down. Yeah, and we were having issues of our own internally. A process she was going on as well for herself, and I also did not understand that process. And like I said, being able to carry that burden for someone else is not an easy task. And I'm not saying it's not an easy task because it was difficult for me. It wasn't. It's because that kind of responsibility, the moment you take it upon yourself, you shouldn't do it lightly. You shouldn't joke about it. It's someone's life at stake.
But then I'm going to keep you talking so that I can eat more. Anyway, I've just figured out the secret to having more of these ribs is to keep you talking.
Now, this one will cool. We'll eat and talk. Too good, this is not TV. They can't see us.
It's true.
And I think Amani has a face for radio.
Well done. So it's broken down. You're having lordship issues. She's going through a process of her own.
And actually, it's until recently that we had that conversation for what actually was happening to us. And it's very interesting to note that for myself now, I am now more aware of what is broken in me. I in the process saw a therapist's door. I was like, what do these people do? Why did they go to school? They're blaming in here. And I sat down. And she asked me, why are you here? Like, I just wanted to know what goes on here. And she asked, and you paid? Like, yeah. I mean, knowledge must cost something.
You paid for curiosity.
For curiosity. And
those ribs are really good, man.
I know, man.
Thanks.
And that was in October of last year, I think. And I mean, say for the COVID period, when it was starting out, before we had figured out, especially on my therapist's end, what they needed to sort out for us to have proper sessions, I've not skipped a session. And it's not coming from a point of, I need fixing. Well, there's a little bit of that. Everyone has a little bit of that. But it's because of what that brings out. That is being able to exist as the highest and best form of yourself.
I keep telling guys, you should go for therapy. Just go.
Yeah. And it's really important. The fear of, again, what you'll find in the closet, what you'll be confronted with. I think it's better to confront that fear than living without ever knowing. Yeah. That maybe I passed by a place and there was a nice stream and that stream was full of gold at the bottom of it. And you said, if I see this kind of plant, usually this plant is smelly. You don't want to see past that. And it's been very interesting. It's been a very interesting journey for me. And
what have you uncovered? What are some of the things you've uncovered about yourself?
We did PMCC when the build up to Itara and all in my previous relationship. And I realized I am selfish. That realization was, I never thought of myself as that. No one ever thinks of themselves as a bad thing. But yeah, that really came out. And I purposed to consider the other person. I purposed to consider people. And it ended up defining the 3 areas that are important to me. That is 1, my relationship. 2, my health. Physical, spiritual, and emotional, and mental. And wealth. And money underwrites a good life. That's the truth of it. Barack Obama says that money is not the answer. Is not the answer, but it answers many questions.
It's true.
Yep. So
I agree.
Yeah. If those are the things that are important to me, that's what I've uncovered. I've also uncovered that I have things that are broken in me, and that awareness and continuously adjusting for them is really important in life. And I realized that as a man, we must take responsibility for decisions, for indecision, for vision. And that thing where you're told you're the priest of the home, if you look at what priests are supposed to do we do them in our own homes?
I'm just eating ribs. I don't know what questions you're asking.
Let me join you. So when you think about it that way, yeah, and roll you back to the Garden of Eden where God came and found man has fallen. He didn't ask the babe, hey, what's going on here? There's the dude. Yeah. And you must always be in a position to answer that question to God.
So, Theuri at 29, confused, making a life-changing decision not to get married. And Theuri now, I don't know how old you are.
Should I say?
Okay.
I turned 32 this May.
32. So, 3 years down the line.
It's 3, yeah? Wow, feels like a lifetime.
Yeah, sometimes it does.
But they've been 3 good years.
Are you ready for another one?
When I look at what it's called for, I'm not too sure. Maybe a bit fearful. I know it's gonna find me, and when it does, I will give it my best. And I will not aim to be the best husband. I want to. I don't know how that looks like. You could occasionally take advice here and there from people who've gone before you in that journey. But I'd like for me to, again, like I said, exist in the highest and best form of that space. All right?
And who's responsible for that?
It's me.
So, and I'm just pushing buttons here just because I can. You're responsible for you living the best version of who Theuri is. So can we infer that this is me trying to sound educated?
Deduction by inference.
Yeah, the rational inference, in fact. Can we infer that then you're responsible for being alive in your relationship?
You are. You actually are. And this is in all relationships, including that one with yourself. And you must be honest to yourself. You must allow yourself to feel. You must allow yourself to go through the process. And you must embrace the consequences, both good and bad, that come out of that embracing. And
what are you looking forward to in a relationship?
I think that narrows it. That confines it.
Okay, what are you looking forward to?
As a person now, there are still those aspects that I'm not happy about.
With yourself?
With myself. I'm not waiting to work on them for me to move to the next phase of my life, whatever that is or how that looks like. Yeah, but I want to work on them so that I can be a better me. All right. And I want to be a kind person. That's who I am. I'm a kind person. I can be quite generous with my time, with myself. I want to lead a life of honor. I hope that the day I check out of this, when my period on this timeline is done, if it happens when I'm married, I'd love her to think of me as a friend, think of me as someone who did not spare anything that they had, that I was there. If I shall have children, I pray that they will know, or they will be convinced that I was present, that I was able to pass on to them something that no one else would have done it the way I did it for them. And for my friends to know that I stuck with them no matter how bad things got. So I'd love to be remembered for that, because I think on your deathbed, as they say, there's nothing you take out of this world. And even for things you do for people, I mean, if look at when people die, people are just fighting for things. But the impact you've had on someone's life, that can be fought for. The person you were kind to, the person you allowed them to experience a higher degree of human dignity because of you being with them, that can be taken away. And in most biographies, one of the things that is a constant pattern, especially for men, is that I wish I spent more time with
my children,
with my wife, with my family, with the people who mattered. So, if you read books and you can see that, si lazima usome na kitabu yako. Yeah?
Learn from those guys who made the mistakes ahead of you.
Chungulia kitabu ya jirani uone inasema nini. You know, what is it saying? So that you don't have to buy all the books to graduate. Yeah. Shorten your schooling time so that you can work more, if I may put it that way.
I'm about to bring this to a close, but you said something. I said love is dangerous.
Yeah. And then
so let's circle back.
So I think I talked about it a bit, and by that I meant you're supposed to love fearlessly.
Okay.
You're supposed to know.
So danger here is a lack of fear.
The lack of fear. Not the lack of fear. Acknowledging it. It may still be resident.
Despite the fear.
Despite. So It is knowing that I can put and give my everything, and it may not be appreciated back, but still wanting to do it. Yeah. And you may look at, if you look at a couple maybe in counseling because things are not going too well, and someone trying to work on maybe what the other person is complaining about, communication maybe, and it's a you problem, and you're being forced to go maybe through therapy because you want to save this thing that is dear to you, or whatever value you've placed on it. That's why you're willing to go through that. And if you think you're doing it for the other person, then you've not overcome that fear. Overcoming that fear is knowing I am here because there's a challenge that was faced. I'm trying to overcome that challenge so that I can be better. So that I can be, my input in this is appreciated much more. So that's what I meant.
So, we've had love is dangerous. We've had, it's also, perfect love is also fearlessness. Which at least it's fearless. We've eaten damn good ribs. I've kept this guy talking and I've comongered the ribs. Yani. Such as. And one of the things I appreciate about you, Tim, is just the fact that you're saying, listen, I went through this experience. This is what it taught me. I've never had a chance to vocalize it. Or maybe I've had a chance, but I've never vocalized it. And I'm ready to vocalize it to myself. Because, again, this is about you.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. We'll enjoy a good story.
Yeah, it sounds selfish.
A bit of a scandal. Lamured with Theuri. However, it's about you. And so my last question for you. Then we close. How does this make you feel, talking about it?
Vulnerable. And there's something Chelule said, that men tend to be more vulnerable in their later years. And human beings are found in conversation. And that is why among the most developed skills we learn or we have as human beings or as humanity is language. And there are all sorts of ways of communicating from one human being to the next. For machines, it's not that complex. But for us, it's complex. That's where human beings are found, in conversation. And that is the basis for vulnerability. And when vulnerability is on the table, there must be respect for it. You can't tear it down.
It's true. and to end on that note of respect, bro, I really respect you. I do think you've done well for yourself. I think you've done well for. You should plug in your practice. If I want to have my teeth checked, where do we go and have them checked?
Dental Access. We have 2 practices.
Okay.
One in Kilimani, Galana Road, Wii Plaza. We have a second practice in town, CBD. That is Cardinal Otunga, that floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys get a Living Truthfully discount?
We can work on that.
We can work on
We
that.
can work on that.
Okay, so go have your teeth checked. Go have them cleaned. Go. What else do?
We do everything. If it's a tooth, or rather, if you have a mouth, come.
Umesikia kama if you have a mouth, go. Dental Access, go check them out. Thank you, Dr. Tim.
Karibu.
I really appreciate the ribs. I really appreciate the conversation. I appreciate your friendship, your candor with me. You've always pushed me back, and I really appreciate that, bro. And I can't wait to come for your next Rorasio.
Karibu amani.
And Itara. Mimi nataka naomba tu kazi ya MC. Mimi naomba kazi ya MC.
Utakuja na cake matron?
Hapana, hatukujangi pamoja. Watu wanaweza dhani tuko pamoja maze. Inaweza haribu soko. Yeah, but thank you so much, bro. God bless you.
As you end up amani, let me ask, where are you at?
I'm in a good place.
Okay.
I'm in a good place. I think right now my concern is more work than anything else. But my heart is settled. My kids are great. I'm about to go see my son just after this.
Oh, happy birthday to your daughter.
Yeah, thanks. Noni, Dr. Theuri says happy birthday. So I'm in a good place, Mazi. I think, and it's not even things that have changed out there. It's just a growth process that I've gone through. And I'm grateful for it.
I think from what you say, you can't beat a man who's at peace.
You can't.
You can't.
Eish. You're spoiling, Mazi. The soundtrack ilikuwa ready. All right. So God bless you guys. And see you on the next one. Check out Dental Access with Dr. Tim Theuri. And let's come and do a podcast on teeth, Bana. In fact, start your own podcast on teeth. I'll help you set it up.
I don't think that's what I'm called to. But if you have a second segment, I'll do that introduction that you do. I like it, man.
So, we'll get it done. Cheers, bro. God bless.